p.m. Are you ready? I'm sorry. I'd like to go ahead and start this meeting. The City Council for the City of Brookshire, Texas will hold its regular City Council meeting on January the 4th, 2024 at 7 o'clock p.m. at Brookshire City Hall, located at 4029 Fifth Street, for the purpose of considering the following. Before we start, I would like to have a prayer and a pledge, please.
Most gracious Father, which art in heaven, we humbly come before Thee at the beginning of this new year with gratitude in our hearts for the blessings that Thou hast bestowed upon us. We're grateful for this opportunity to serve our community and to be together to consider how we can best strengthen and unify our community together. We're grateful, Father, for Thy wisdom, which helps us to know how we can continue to move forward. We ask this night that Your Spirit would be here to guide and direct our efforts, that we might be inspired by Thee. We pray for Thy blessing upon the city of Brookshire and all of the inhabitants here, that this new year might be prosperous for them, that the city might prosper, and that we might all grow together. This we pray in the name of Thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Miss Erica, will you call us to order, please?
Yes. Mayor Branch,
Here.
Alderman Neuendorf,
Present.
Alderman Taylor, Alderman McAnally,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Hill,
Present.
Alderman Branch.
Here.
What she just did.
Let me just use this thing.
No.
Yes. Anyway, we'll move on to agenda item number 5, public comments. State law prohibits the mayor and the members of the city council from commenting any statement or engaging in any dialogue with a appropriate agenda item being posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Law. Comments should be directed at the entire council, not individual members engaging in a verbal attacks or comments intended to insult, abuse, malign, slander any individual shall be cause for termination of speaking privileges and the expulsion from city council chambers. Your comments are limited to 3 minutes. Ms. Rodriguez, you are the first to comment.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Ruth Rodriguez, constituent from Brookshire, Texas. And standing up here, my point of view, from standing up here, citizens are warned, and if we slander or call out a public servant's name, we can no longer speak. And complaints about city services are denied. And essentially, citizens are talking to ourselves up here. So a different approach, and phoning 281-375-5050, and no one has public information, and yet another public servant takes control of the phone and reads a Facebook post to me, and out loud, and adds that I'm against one public servant especially. 10 years of public information requests, and instead of the city of Brookshire applying wisdom to the situation, the only information I've received is about me, and it's false. And I call this lack of mutuality. And tonight, the entire agenda is especially for one man, and this man pushed back on lack of mutuality. And Martin Luther King suffers years and years and years of slander, and until he is taken out by the devil. And just because this man said, darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. And so lovingly, I plead for public information, and foremost regarding the newest public servants, and since 2021. And also public information that my RSVP is accepted to the city-sanctioned Martin Luther King brunch, City of Brookshire public servants. May God grant you grace to lead with wisdom.
Thank you. Okay, next we have Ms. Cheryl.
Hi, everyone.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello. So I just want to introduce myself to y'all. My name is Cheryl Haw, and I'm running to be your next Republican Waller County District Attorney. I just wanted to tell you a little bit about myself. I was born in Denver, Colorado to two legally immigrant parents. I have one younger sister. She's the surgeon and the golden child of the family. I went to the University of Colorado Boulder. I studied mathematics and psychology because I had completed differential equations and Calculus 3 before I even graduated from high school. That allowed me to graduate from college in 3 years instead of 4. And from there, I went on to do my master's in forensic psychology, so psychology of the law, where I studied psychopaths and serial killers, and I worked in an FBI research lab. From there, I came down here to Texas to study at the South Texas College of Law, not only the oldest law school in Texas, but one of 3 law schools in the entire nation where you get to study under a U.S. Supreme Court justice. So I got to go do that for one summer. From there, I started off at the Waller County District Attorney's Office, where I did everything under the sun. So most people don't know that our district attorney is actually also our county attorney. So not just the criminal side, but the civil side. And I have experience in all of it. So one thing I agree with my opponent about is that experience matters, but the right experience matters. So on the civil side, I used to go to commissioner's court. I used to counsel our commissioners and the county judge on what was legal under government law and administrative law. I used to defend our law enforcement in civil lawsuits following things like shootings. I even fought against pasture parties, and I won in the Court of Appeals. In the criminal-related civil side, I did asset forfeitures, expunctions, non-disclosures, animal cruelty cases, that sort of thing. And on the criminal side, I did everything from intake, trials, appeals, and everything from JP, misdemeanor, and felony cases. So I ran the gamut. From there, I actually went up to the Brazos County Attorney's Office about a year ago, because the way that the court system is set up down here, every prosecutor may only have a chance to go to trial maybe 2 or 3 times a year if they're lucky. Up there, I am scheduled to be in trial every other week. So just this past year, I tried 8 cases as first chair. That's the primary prosecutor, and I assisted in at least 7. So I would like to come back and bring all that experience to serve the people of Waller County, because Waller County has become my home. So thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. What? Miss Betty, do you want to speak?
Shame on me, I've never been to a meeting. I was alerted Sunday morning getting ready to go to church about a post, the Jeremiah Hill post.
Hang on
Okay.
just a second, Vic.
Could you State your name.
My name is Betty Jean Davis Jeffrey. Been a citizen of Brookshire, Texas all my life. Still live on the same residence that I was born.
Miss Melina asked, could you have her sign her name?
That's okay, you can, as long as you add it.
Denotate that she didn't sign up.
I'll just put my initials beside it. Go ahead, Miss Betty.
Yeah, I was alerted Sunday morning as I was getting up ready to go to church about a post from Jeremiah Hill about me being racist. I'm not racist. I don't have a racist bone in my body.
I said you
Racist
made
never
racist
came up into the
comments
community
about
till
me.
you came along. And then you said I was going door to door asking people don't vote for white folks. I don't use the term white folks.
I want to go read the
And I
post.
think
That's
that
not
was
what
very
it said.
disrespectful. You got me kind of afraid. The things going on around this world today for you to put me out there as being racist.
No.
And then you even put on an issue between me and my cousin Keith Woods. When I went to you personally about that, you shied away from me. But for some reason, you done put on social media, me and Keith. And now you're going around saying, oh, she want to be best friend with me. I'm not best friend. That's my first cousin. And I think you got an agenda with Keith and you trying to use me for that agenda. But you was, I am owed an apology for you doing that.
Will not
Calling me out
apologize.
racist. I am not racist. And
I
that's
didn't call
terrible
you
for you to
racist.
hold a position in this town to go around calling me and other people racist. That's not true. And racist just, all over you is racist. All in your page or comment. That's all you talk
That's
about.
exactly what I said. You've called me racist.
No, I didn't. Never have.
Yes, you have.
Never have.
Yes,
Can
you
you
have.
show me that? Like I can show
Absolutely.
you what you put about me?
You better read it.
Show
'cause
me
what
some
you said
proof.
is not what was written.
I can't believe you. You unbelievable.
And she,
She just called me racist in public. Personal attacks are not supposed to be allowed.
But look
But we're
what
gonna let that
position you
happen.
hold.
Perfect.
One at a
hang on.
time.
Look what position you hold.
Betty,
And you
if
should be
you
careful what you say online. That's not fair.
understand what
To
the
say vote out all
One
white
at a
people,
time.
Henry,
that's,
And I said what I said
It's
about
not
the
your
MLK Day. I said that wasn't enough work put in it.
just about.
If it's just gonna hold 84 people,
She still got a few seconds.
but
You got a few seconds, baby.
okay, I'll be going to the MLK for the city. I did disagree with it because I feel like it wasn't enough time put in it.
exist.
If Martin Luther King represented something way better than a brunch that only seat 84 people, when you spent all that money with that pavilion, we could have been out there. That would have been a very
Betty.
much event.
Your time is up.
All right.
Is there anyone else?
I'll get to have my
Okay.
say here in just a minute.
We'll move on then.
I said, I'll get to have my say here in just a minute.
We'll move on to agenda item number 6, new business. Shh.
You know,
Come on, y'all gotta be quiet now.
let's move on to it.
Agenda item number 6, new business. Discuss and consider closure of public street on January the 13th, 2024, between the hours of 12 p.m. and 2:30 p.m. for the MLK parade.
This additional paper we received is the proposed route.
Yes.
Do you know what the staging area for the start is?
I think it is. It's at Cooper and, is that where it is?
should be Fourth and Cooper, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah,
but
I think it
I'm-
is at Fourth and Cooper. Where
I
it
don't wanna
indicates-
say that.
Where
that
he
ain't it.
indicates block party, I think that's where it starts and then it goes north. and
So they're
then-
gonna stage all the vehicles on Cooper Street or on Fourth Street?
I'm not sure.
It's either Cooper,
Personal
probably,
answer's not
let me look at it again. I think it's Cooper.
Mr. Woods is coordinating with PD, so we recommend approval of the parade route. It's not large, it's only for a limited amount of time, and he's coordinating with PD, so we recommend approval for it.
That's fine. My concern is just where they're gonna stage and if they're gonna, I don't want there to be overflow into some other areas of traffic, if that's gonna be an issue.
Mr. McAnally,
It shouldn't.
if it helps your feelings any, when the hangar does the giveaway, they start lining up at Cooper and Fourth, go all the way to Depot, go down Depot, go all the way down Waller Avenue, and sometimes comes back out on First Street. I don't want to say it's going to be that large, but if we can stage that many cars, I worked it for 2.5 years and ran through there. I don't believe we'll have that many cars, vehicles, floats, or whatever, that it would take up that much space. So,
My only concern was actually based on my experience with that as well, which is that they often come down Cooper to Depot. And so I was just going to suggest that when we block these streets, we might want to consider marking Cooper down to Depot instead of just Fourth Street.
that's where they mark.
But right now, what they're asking for is only through Fourth Street.
What they're gonna do is start on, Cooper Street and go straight down to Depot. Down Depot. Looks like to Kenny Street, and they're gonna turn back on, what is that, Fifth Street?
That's 4th.
Fourth Street, it looks like Fifth. Then right back to the hangar.
I think Chief plans on talking to him tomorrow to, to
Finalized.
finalize everything.
And did you not say your recommendation is to
Oh, sure,
approve
yes,
the,
I mean, we're recommending.
if you're ready for
There's no reason, yeah, we don't have any reason to not.
a motion, Mayor?
Any further discussion? Okay, Ms. Bench.
I make a motion that we close the closure of public streets on January 13th, 2024, between the hours of 12 p.m. and 2:30 p.m. for the Martin Luther King Parade, contingent on Chief Hines and Mr. Woods discussing the staging part of the parade.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Carries. Next, we have B, discuss and consider the city sanction MLK Unity Brunch.
As we get into this, because there's been some false information put on Facebook by including individuals in this auditorium today, I want to first thank Miss Monique Taylor, Miss Quotatious Dunn, and Miss Margie McFarling for coming up with this idea. And then to our city administrator for bringing it to council, even though there's people that are saying that we came up with it, and it's been a way to try to protest against other events. This was actually in good intention by staff to do something nice for the community. MLK has always been earmarked in our calendar. It's always been budgeted, but the city has never held its own event. You have half the community that says, or maybe more, you should not support Keith Woods and the events that he puts on. So our city staff and volunteers said, hey, let's try to put something on. And I think it was a good idea. And it's sad that some people have taken this and twisted it and turned it in ways that go very much against Martin Luther King and what he stood for. Have used it as a bully pulpit to call the white members of council racist. It baffles my mind. It baffles my mind that racism is being used as a pulpit to go against that. Oh, yes, ma'am. I was called the Grandmaster of the KKK on Facebook. So if that's not racist, I don't know what is. Miss Rodriguez, you can
Are
stop.
we not even going to address the fact that we have
Decorum rules.
decorum
and
rules and complete disregard for this council?
I was
Miss
fixing to
Branch,
say
you
Met-
called me today and said, to your knowledge, there's a third event that's being planned now by Mr. Lasker and Miss Davis, correct?
Y'all,
Can we please have an order called to our meeting, Mr. Mayor?
I call point of order. And it's no sense in all of everybody speaking at one time. Y'all can still say whatever y'all want to say, and I welcome y'all to say whatever y'all want to say. Right now, Mayor Pro Tem Hill is speaking, and once he gets through speaking, if y'all feel like y'all need to put in your opinion, I believe that we'll take time and hear everybody's opinion. But just speaking out in a council meeting is not the way that it should be done. You ask for permission, and then if the mayor that's over the meeting lets you speak, that's on you. But this is not how it goes.
Ms. Branch, when you called me today, or when we spoke on the phone today, you informed me there's a third MLK event being planned now at Bostic Park by, I believe you said, Bonafide, Mr. Lasker and Miss Davis. Is that correct?
That was my understanding.
It wasn't addressed as bona fide, it's community, it's not bona fide.
That's what else, again, if you're gonna keep speaking out, at some point, order has to be called. I repeated what I was told.
But you see, what you was told, you need to get the facts.
Okay,
Interesting.
we ain't gonna get,
If we're not gonna have decorum,
Yeah, this is the last
And
warning.
if somebody told you you had a KKK,
Here
you
you
need
go.
to call them out. If somebody
well, I have.
This is the last warning, Chief. I'm gonna ask you to remove members who can't follow the rules. We've given them 20 minutes of grace.
So now there's a third event being planned. After last week, there was somebody who got upset because the city was going to have a second event. Again, this was planned by volunteers and staff with no ill intentions, but it's been turned all sorts of sideways. And I don't see at this point the point of us even having an event, because there's been people call City Hall, threaten staff.
Correct.
There's been emails, Facebook posts. I don't see the point, council, in continuing on and even having this event if the citizens are going to act this way over something that wasn't intended to be anything other than what was presented to us as council all at the same time. Ms. Neuendorf, did you know anything about this brunch before it was presented to council?
Did I know anything about the brunch before it was presented to council?
Yes.
No.
Mr. McAnally, did you know anything about this brunch before it was presented to council?
Not specifically the brunch. I knew that we had sanctioned a Martin Luther King event for
Thank
the
you.
day, but I did not know anything specific about what was happening.
Alderwoman Branch, did you know anything about this event before it was presented to council?
No, sir, but I would like to say something to that also.
And that's fine. So this whole narrative that this was all done to compete against another event, or whatever the narrative is just such bullcrap. And people calling and threatening city staff has no place in our city. And I hope that those calls have been referred to our police department to be prosecuted. I'll yield to Ms. Branch.
Just 1 second. I want to bring up to council that when we went through budget in August and we approved the budget, we actually approved the hotel motel budget, which indicated that there were specific city events for hotel motel that were budgeted for the city sanctioned events. Martin Luther King was one of them. That was approved. We then brought it to council 2 months ago to again reapprove because there had been some confusion about what the official city sanctioned events were going to be. MLK was one of those specifically spelled out. And then as I started digging even further into that, I want to pull up a council agenda from June 17th of 2021. Item 8 on that is discussion and possible action regarding adding Martin Luther King Jr. Day to cities' festivals, requested by Alderman Taylor. And the minutes from that meeting actually say discussion and possible action regarding adding Martin Luther King Jr. Day to cities' festivals, Alderman Taylor. Alderman Taylor says, I would like to make a motion to add Martin Luther King Jr. Day to our city's festival. Alderman Branch seconds. Alderman Jones in favor. Alderman Stamps in favor. Mayor Pro Tem Green in favor. Motion carries unanimously. So I'm in a position of being very confused because we have 3 very clear-cut indications that now, whether or not the city followed through with those, I can't speak to that. I wasn't here. But this was definitely conversations started actually at an event in early December Mr. McAnally was there, about what is the city finally going to utilize the allocation of the city-sanctioned Martin Luther King event. That's when the discussion started. This was never planned. I know that some of the public here has been very outspoken, as if they've talked to me, that it was my intention to create this as a form of division for the community, and I just want to take the opportunity to say that was absolutely not true. So indicating to the community that was me or my staff that were trying to purposefully divide the Martin Luther King event is 100% not true. In fact, it was done in full festive and out of, honestly, like, trying to, our obligation to the city, utilize what we had decided clearly back in 2021 to officially sanction a city event and follow through with that. But to, I mean, Mayor Pro Tem's point and you know, Alderman Branch's point, there's a lot of time and effort that goes into these events, not to mention a pretty sizable budget that goes into this. If the community is so against it, I'd rather put my resources somewhere else.
Yep.
And so that's why, you know, I have initiated the conversation with each of you on a very candid level. At what point does the city pull back and say, we previously have approved this, but we can reallocate those funds? I know that Ms. Molina and myself have both reached out statewide to our organizations, the city manager's organization and the city secretary's organization. We can't find a city that actually sanctions Martin Luther King events, Juneteenth events, Cinco de Mayo events. Cities tend to stay pretty neutral in celebratory holiday sanctioned events. So the way I look at it, this was a privilege that the city of Brookshire was giving its residents, and I don't know where we sit right now, because Mayor Pro Tem Hill is correct. I mean, council members, city staff, community residents who have volunteered their time to help have all been threatened. We've been harassed. We've been bullied. Say what you want. Doesn't bother me, because I know that my intent in assisting staff with this was in good nature. So I leave it up to the purview of the council for you to decide what direction you want to take this in. And that's the conversation that needs to be had on this agenda item. And just so you know, I mean, the hotel motel, this council did approve $12,000 as the budgetary amount for the Martin Luther King sanctioned event.
Is it my turn now? Thank you. I missed the November meeting that supposedly it was briefly spoke of, and I've been a little busy. I don't sit around and look at flyers, but at the December the 16th meeting, when the brunch was brought up, it clearly stated that it wouldn't interfere with the Martin Luther King event, that the parade didn't start till 1:30. There is an event, the kids' block party, where they have rides for the kids and whatever, that starts at 11 o'clock. I didn't know that it started at 11 o'clock, or I would not have voted for the brunch. And I'm going to tell you my feelings, and I'm sure all y'all know I don't bite my tongue on my feelings. If I had known that the Martin Luther King event started at 11 o'clock, I would not have voted for the city brunch. I can tell you, if we was going to do a Martin Luther King event, might it be a brunch, might it be everybody bring their pails and shovels and all try and play together in the same sandbox without calling each other's names, I would have went for it. But in my opinion, this was planned, and these ladies have no idea what's happened in the past. I've sat on this council where the other 4 council people were black and voted not to have a MLK. This has nothing to do with race. This has everything. And when I say everything to do with people personally hating other people, that's what it is. Because every morning that I get up and look in the mirror, I'm a white woman. But you can bet every time that there is a function, Martin Luther King, Cinco de Mayo, Juneteenth, my white self is there supporting everybody. I think that this is very childish. It was brought up that you don't plan an event 2 weeks, I'll give y'all 30 days ahead of a event. The event that I do is July 4th. I don't get paid, neither does the rest of the council members that oversee other things. We rip and run. Nobody's ever helped put together, put a tablecloth on, put a chair out, but everybody complained about supposedly the tablecloths got picked up, but we won't go there. All I'm saying is this is something personal. And Mr. Woods left here last time saying, with the guidelines that was pointed out by the state, it looks like his event doesn't qualify for the state funds, and he would leave and go find the $1,700 that he asked for porta potties and the little children's train, and it was something else. My point being, we don't write those checks to Keith Woods. We don't write those checks to Henry Lasker. We don't write those checks to Kim Davis. It goes to the vendors. But everybody is hating on everybody. And I'm going to tell you, I don't lose sleep. If you don't like me, I don't lose sleep. I have to answer to God. And God's the only one that knows if I or any of the rest of these council members or city staff is racist. So all of this stuff that is happening needs to stop. I believe if we're going to have that city brunch, that we should see can we relocate it to the hangar. I'm not sure has that been addressed yet. I will try and reach out to Mr. Orban tomorrow. Then everybody can be in the same vicinity. But all of this Facebook stuff, and y'all know me, I'm not gonna bite my tongue. This has totally been embarrassing. And nobody asked my opinion, but I don't think we should have any more festivals. People complained about the Christmas lights that was on Highway 90. I thought that they'd done a pretty awful job too, but we hired somebody to do it, and it's a little late to go back and realize that they didn't wrap every trunk. But if we've got to be talked about because we didn't wrap the Christmas trees right, I say that we don't have any more city-sanctioned functions unless it is a function called Spring Fling. Maybe we could have something in October when it's homecoming where we are royal and have sort of like a, what do you call that, class reunions, because people come from out of town. That's up for discussion at a later time. But this that's happened lately, y'all know, I'm married to Mayor Branch, and everybody has a problem with both of us being up here. And, I'm not going to pick sides. There's not a side to pick. We're all God's children. This ain't nobody's town. This is everybody that pays taxes, pays rent, and lives here's town. And this is total bullcrap, what has been being pulled. And with that being said, I'm done.
Any further discussion?
Is there anyone from the audience that wanted to make a comment? Was there still anyone from the audience that you wanted to allow to make a comment?
That's what I said, any further discussion?
I have a question. Kim, you said that you've been here for quite a long time in the leadership position that you're in.
Ms. Rodriguez, can you come to the?
Yes, I don't have anything written down. So I was just gonna ask you, Kim, some general questions, because there's so many things you talked about. Ruth Rodriguez, City of Brookshire, Texas. You talked about so many things, but when you say, and you kind of refer to people that are sitting next to you in this area up there, so I'm presuming that you mean y'all have some kind of decision-making process where you decide, we're going to do this, we're not going to do this for the City of Brookshire. Is that something that at some point that me and my neighbors can come and ask y'all, what are you doing, why are you doing it? Because in the whole time you've been here, I've never had an opportunity to do anything. And like my public comment today, nobody responds to anything.
Well,
We're not allowed to respond to public comments.
Okay, I don't mean doing that. I don't mean breaking rules, Amanda. In general,
Just
for
said
10
nobody
years,
responded to your public
and I'm
comments.
clarifying what I meant. In 10 years of me asking for public information, Amanda, following all the rules set forth by the universe, I've never gotten a response.
Ruth, I'll respond. I've got emails from you and I've answered your phone calls while my husband was in Methodist Hospital.
My
Damn-
phone calls.
Yes, damn near dead behind dogs. I don't know what happened to your dogs.
I don't know what you're talking
that
about,
was-
Kim.
Oh,
I have
well,
no idea.
yes-
You're not
oh,
answering
yes,
my
ma'am,
question.
Because you're still sending
You're not answering my question.
those
What I just
emails.
asked you about special events for the City of Brookshire, Texas.
What exactly is your, I just
City
said
of
let's-
Brookshire.
Let's
You've been here-
cancel all city events.
If you want to keep this to the agenda item, so.
Yeah, my dogs are not on the agenda. You want to talk about my dogs? You set up a
said-
meeting, and I'll be happy to talk to you about
Okay.
that. But what I asked, and that's surprisingly, because you said I have an answer, and then you talked about something completely different. I specifically,
You said I won't talk to you.
no, I asked specifically a question about,
Okay, I'm sorry.
since you've been on council,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
when you refer to these people, which y'all are all sitting there, so I'm not trying to single anyone out, but
Okay.
I'm presuming from sitting over there, when you confer about people, that you all discuss things and you make a decision, whether we're going to have a city-sanctioned event or a city-sanctioned not event or anything to do with the City of Brookshire events. So I'm asking, at any point during your, kind of what I heard you say about City of Brookshire events, is there a time when me, my neighbors, my cousins, whoever I want to bring can come and talk to you about, hey, why are y'all doing this event like this? Or how are y'all going to have popcorn there?
That's fine and great, but. when
Is
you
there an
come in-
opportunity to do that?
Hold on, when you come in and 2, 3 of you want to talk at the same time, then you want to say that's a lie, and who's lying. It's supposed to be compromising. You're supposed to be able to compromise.
But now you're not letting this lady answer my question.
I don't have to let her answer. I run this show.
But
Not
we're
her.
in the state of Texas, in the
Okay,
United
but
States of
I'm
America,
just
and I asked her a
telling you.
question as a public
I'm just
servant, and
telling
I'm
you,
expecting it
okay?
back, expecting an
Okay.
answer. So now who's taking it personally, Mayor Branch?
Nobody.
Not me. I'm asking about the City of Brookshire.
Well, I just told you.
No, you said
My
that,
opinion. That's my opinion.
but you're still not talking about the City of Brookshire
To answer
special
the question,
events.
decisions like this are made, decisions
Oh.
like this are discussed and made in council. The opportunity to provide feedback and thoughts is through public comments. We don't discuss the events or decision-making outside of council because that violates the Open Meetings Act. Does that
So
help?
is there a time like when we can dialogue? Because I know during public comments.
So
What
my
you-
best
what you can
recommendation would be that whenever the agenda is posted publicly, if you see something that would be of interest, that you could reach out to one of the council members and ask if you could provide feedback beforehand.
good suggestions.
There we
So-
go.
I
so
will add,
my
Ms.
question-
Rodriguez, I will
yeah.
add every year leading up to budget. Budget is due by the end of September to the state of Texas. We start working on it in June. So we have several series of workshops where we come in and we talk about different aspects of the budget. That would be a time where you could come in during a workshop setting and say, hey, I'd like to see A, B, and C, and that's a time where council can discuss it, and we can, if it's
Why we
something that
still
the
have the
council
ability to
sees
edit it.
fit for, a city service or a city event, we can plug it into the budget and see how it comes into but a workshop it's there, we still have decorum,
Yes,
the,
ma'am.
the decorum of the meeting, but it allows for us to pivot a little bit more into
Yeah.
open dialogue and communication to discuss amongst ourselves, hey, is this something that we think is fruitful for the city? Can we fit it into the budget? Do we want to fit it in? How does that work? So I don't know if that gives you an answer, but I would just watch the agendas. And like I said, we start at the end of June and we'll do July and August. We'll do workshops and it'll be listed as budget workshops is
That's
how
great.
it will be
That's
listed.
good to know, because I think I've missed, that's my fault on my imperfections as a human person, that I missed that opportunity. So it's a surprise that I can relate to other people when we come here, and it seems like decisions are already made, and we're like, in general, we, meaning people
And
like me.
I'll be honest, I can't speak for how it's been done in the past because as we all know, things have been done incorrectly and we're in the process of
100%.
correcting and kind of ripping the Band-Aid off and doing it the proper way. But I can promise you that going forward, you will see the opportunity of those budget workshops. There will be hotel motel workshops where we can invite the public to come in and we can thoroughly explain the use, the application process, the distribution, the level of restrictedness of all those hotel motel funds, the economic development funds. That is something that we're working towards, is to create those public workshops that allow for decorum of a meeting, but more public input, more conversational time of what that process looks
Yeah,
like.
and that's all I'm asking as a general interested resident of Brookshire, just in general, I'm not asking for like in blood signature, what to do.
Right.
But I think a lot of the discord that exists today at this very moment is because of the past, and I'm not criticizing anyone. I'm just saying because of the past, of how things were done, whether they were good or bad or
Sure.
evil or not. Today is a moment of where I'm hearing elected officials, and I even heard you, no offense, but if you're feeling offended and abused,
Oh, I'm fine.
okay, well, a lot of us, we get that same feedback from, or that same feeling from elected officials. And I feel like, if I may, just take this opportunity to say, I feel like our elected officials at this very moment are very insulated from anything personally, objectively, citywide, citizen of the United States that I have to say. It's set up here at the city of Brookshire to where my elected officials are insulated. They don't, in my opinion, I don't get my responses from emails. I don't get responses to phone calls. My public comment today kind of summed it up the last 10 years. For 10 years, I've asked for public information, and I call and I get public information about myself, and it's false. So I'm glad to hear that things are changing, and I only have my way of measuring as to whether it will change for the better, but I'm willing to see it get better, and I hope it does.
Ms. Rodriguez, before you sit down, I'd like to apologize to you that I misinterpreted your question.
You know what? God bless you.
Might as well.
I'm gonna keep it short. Greetings, Tanya Woods, and I'm here to speak on the agenda item. I didn't come here to speak on the agenda item, but after listening to the comments, I decided to speak on the agenda items. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Hill, for clearing up the confusion about the benefit of the dinner that's gonna, the brunch that's going to be put on Saturday. I would love to see the brunch continue. Trying to get it relocated to the hangar would be perfect, so everything can be in one location. But thank you for clearing that confusion up. It's disappointing and sad that the city can't come together and be on one page for one accord for such an awesome event. MLK stood for something awesome. something dramatic, and that was unity, coming together as a group, no matter what color, what race, what ethnicity you're from. And it's a sad situation. We're a town of what, 5,000? And we can't come together to support each other and take self out the way. Because it's not about me. It's not about anyone sitting on this council. It's about our babies that are watching us and watching how we perform and what we do and how we handle diversity and confrontation. And Facebook is not the place to air our dirty laundry. And I pray that we get beyond that and come together as a city and move forward. That's what we've been praying for the school district. And it's a sad thing that the citizens that live here are the ones that's tearing us down and not promoting the good that's going on. So I would love for the brunch to continue to honor whoever we're going to honor, as well as the block party, as well as the parade, and we just come together and fellowship with each other. And on another note, I've reached out to, I think I've talked to Amanda, Mayor Pro Tem, Ms. Branch, and I've been able to talk to you and I've been able to get feedback. I haven't reached out to you yet. Hopefully I won't have to. But anyway, and I've gotten positive feedback from each and every one of you, and I thank you for that, and I would love to see that continue. And again, I live in Brookshire. I'm from Sunnyside, but I live in Brookshire. I work here in Brookshire, and I would love for us to finally come together and move forward, because a house divided, it's not going to stand.
I don't know if you think, it's nothing like that. I'm not trying to separate nothing. I think that brunch is a good deal. I think it's a real good deal. But we do this every year. And we, it's a celebration, and we just trying to do something all day. And I don't know if it's a problem with us doing something at Bostic Park. It's nothing to do with Bonafide. It's nothing to do with Henry
Where I was
Lasker.
going with that.
It says Brookshire Community.
You were upset last week, noticeably upset.
You know why I was upset.
And
Hill.
you were arguing, saying y'all were doing 2 events, and then
I
all of a
asked,
sudden you're
and
doing
I
one.
said that was 2 events, Hill.
Right.
If
but
you
what I'm
do
saying
one in the
is-
morning, okay. And I said y'all doing 2 events, so we're not
So-
asking y'all for nothing. We're not asking.
No.
For,
And on the other, the rules have been clearly laid out.
so
Keith Woods can't get anything either.
I'm not.
Where I'm going is-
if Keith get, we don't really. I don't look at that. Like
You
I
were
said, I'm not
upset
trying to
last
separate.
week.
I'm not trying to separate nothing. We have our event every year, and we decided to do it at Bostic Park. We giving away food. We're gonna have a domino tournament. We're gonna have a 3-on-3 basketball. We have a DJ and everything. And we're
what
not asking
day
for
is
nothing.
y'all's?
Huh? Saturday. I mean, we do it every year. And it's nothing about that he mentioned it was Henry Lasker or Bonafide. It's nothing to do with that. It's a Brookshire, it's Brookshire.
So what day
We
is-
actually gonna set up a booth. Yes.
What days is
And-
the
and-
Keith Woods Martin Luther King?
I have no idea.
Saturday.
It's the 13th.
At
Friday,
the
Saturday,
same
13th,
time,
14th.
right?
January, it's, yes, January 13th is is that Saturday.
And one of the biggest reasons why we're doing it, we're gonna set up a voters registration booth so we get some of the young kids to vote. Because this next election is very important in Brookshire. And we're gonna
Every
get them.
election is.
I know, you're right about that, but we're gonna get them, we got a voters registration set up and everything, a booth. So we can get these kids registered to vote for the next election coming up in Brookshire. It's nothing about separations. Like I said, that's a good idea. That brunching thing, we don't have nothing to do with that. We do this every year. We try to just bring the community together because of Martin Luther King.
I'm gonna leave it.
It's nothing about
I mean,
Bonafide. It's nothing about
Must be
this.
amnesia, because you were upset with us last week.
You know I was upset last week, Hill.
But
Because of that, because of,
are you going to hold decorum with people in the audience, or are we going to keep doing this?
okay, let me ask you something. You know why, Hill, last week
We're
was
not
something
gonna address
different.
it.
Last week was about the Bonafide ride we had in August. He asked me a
So-
question, I gave him an answer. It was about the
So-
Bonafide ride in August.
So is it
But
not
last
true
week,
and
we were
correct
upset
that the legislation
Because-
said
For
that
multiple
a
events.
citizen can
All
talk
right.
about any agenda?
Should I bring up that
Did
about
not
August?
pass in 20?
But now,
That I turned
You're
in
doing
all
it
my
then.
Yes, that's the
receipts and
question.
everything.
Mayor, we got
Sorry.
multiple conversations going
I
on.
hear a question from council, I can't hear anything. So what's the question?
The question is, did the legislation not change that a citizen can talk on any agenda item if the mayor or whoever is leading the meeting, if they can talk on that?
So what you have is a system the mayor and the council approved, you have rules set up for that purpose. Any citizen can talk about any item on the agenda or any item at all, and the rules are subject to your rules, which say that you have to.
During that agenda item, though.
You have to sign up before, yes, that is your rules, you've adopted those rules, that's the rules for city of Brookshire for public comment.
I'm,
If the mayor at any time, he's the
I'll get
guides
the law.
meeting, he can allow people to speak or not speak.
Dottie Dumas talked about every agenda item there was because of the legislation letter, but I'll get the rule.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm Betty again, and I still want an apology from Jeremiah Hill for calling me racist.
I never called you racist. You need to go
I
read it
can
for
read it
yourself.
to
Come on,
you.
Betty,
Please do.
listen.
And about
Betty,
that brunch,
Betty,
I
listen,
called,
Betty,
yeah.
listen. We're not gonna keep going.
That, you don't know what that did to me for him to put that in the public
Betty,
like that.
You don't know what it does.
And you
to-
keep
stuff in the
going
public
on and on. Every
Okay.
time Henry get up, you say something.
Okay,
I mean,
Wait a minute, I got something to say about that brunch. We didn't talk against that brunch. The only thing I said about the brunch, it should have been thought out better, it should have been bigger. And I got an email said it's just gonna seat 84 people. How many black people, white people, Hispanic want to come to the brunch?
it don't matter.
And then he trying to personally.
If prior
he trying to make
events are
me
any
and Keek
indication,
be
not
enemies.
85.
What was going on between me and Keek was me and Keek business. You put that on Facebook.
because
Why? You didn't,
because
when
you
I
reached
went
out
to
to
you
us
behind
then.
closed door to talk to you about it, you wouldn't talk. But
Look,
now you want to be
man.
upset with Keek, so you're gonna try to make it look like we got a war.
It's
That's
very
my
interesting
cousin.
to me. I'm
Whatever
getting
we
told
got going
about-
on, we can heal behind that. I'm
Okay,
just saying,
that's
this
it.
man needs to
That's
be
it.
dealt with.
We're done with that. 'Cause we're gonna go back and forth over the same old thing for nothing. And the whole point of a whole lot of this is that people put stuff on Facebook, talking about each other and stuff, instead of coming together and talking together and working things out, instead of just posting stuff. There's stuff on there about me. I don't even read none of that stuff. But it happens. If you ain't man or woman come to my face and tell me that, then I don't worry about it. I know what I do, and I'm not afraid to answer or meet with anybody. But that's the whole problem. We need to quit that. And there's so much lying going on around this city, you won't believe. Somehow I get in stuff that I don't even know what people talking about. So, we need to just sit down, relax, come together, and try to figure out a way where we can all work together. Even though if we don't agree, we can work together instead of sitting around talking about each other. Because if you want to know if I said something about you, all you got to do is find me, and I'll tell you if I said it. Because I'm man enough to tell you to your face. All of this back talking and backstabbing, that's just baloney. Okay, I'm ready to move on. Let's go to,
Well,
Nope.
yeah, there needs to be action on that item.
We dismissed to executive session.
Huh?
It's dismissed to executive session.
There's no executive session.
According to the rules, we can dismiss to executive session for any agenda item. Yep.
So is that your recommendation, is to
Yes.
move?
that's your motion.
I was assuming it's gonna be constitutional attorney.
Yep.
And you want to move it to executive session.
We can go ahead and dismiss to it if you want to.
All in favor?
Ah,
I'm not sure what we're voting on.
There's not a motion.
Well, I just want to, I'm tired. Anyway. Next agenda item is C, discuss and consider request from Mr. Keith Woods for hotel motel funds for the MLK Parade and Block Party on Saturday, January the 13th, 2024.
I was-
Hold on. This will be a reimbursement for eligible for expenses.
So
I was
this-
confused why this came back up as an agenda
Because
item.
at the last meeting, it was tabled and he asked that it be put on this meeting.
Okay.
But I've already talked to Mr. Woods about it, and so he understands. I've given him I got the application, and there is actually a post-event report that has to be sent into the comptroller's office. I have sent that. Oh, they sent it to me, and I talked to Mr. Woods today, and I'm gonna send it to him so that he has all that information. So there's no action to be taken on this item because it's something that has to be done. The paperwork has to be submitted within 30 days with the reimbursement within 60 days of the event. So he's fully aware of that, and I told him, I'd help him if he had any questions on that application and that post-event report. I'd be more than happy to help him.
Okay.
So there's no action on this item.
Let's move to D. Discuss and consider all future city sanctions events.
I make a motion that we cancel all city functions until we can have a workshop on making
Hotel,
it
motel?
neutral. You could help me here, Justin.
That's all right.
That we've budgeted for now till we can come together and work on what would be neutral events
I can
that,
tell you the events that we have are Christmas, 4th of July, Juneteenth, Martin Luther King, and Cinco de Mayo. Those are the city-sanctioned budgeted events.
I'd like us to do a workshop on if we'd like to add to that. I just don't want to be put back in the position that we're in now. So, however, I would like that to be worded. I think everybody knows where I'm going with this, and we have plenty of time,
Well,
'cause
just saying, council to further notice after workshop.
I make a motion that we cancel all budgeted city functions until workshops can be completed.
Just so we're clear, does that include the MLK, any MLK event?
That you can't cancel that, that's already,
Well, I bet it's a
Them.
budgeted event.
yeah, well, it's already,
I would think you,
Justin,
couldn't you list it?
my unicorn is going to kick you.
We're actually discussing the status of the brunch in executive session.
An executive session, so we're not there yet. Can we?
The exception,
So-
so with the exception of MLK, all budgeted
Right.
events.
Yeah.
Can you restate the motion, please?
Mm-hmm.
Not, you don't have to, Ms. Branch, if somebody else has been taking notes on what the motion was
I
made.
think
Motion to
the
cancel
easiest
all
way for
budget.
her to word it is just say, that she moves to cancel all city-sanctioned events starting February 1st, 2024 through the end of September 2024,
Second.
until further notice by council.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Okay.
You do, damned if you don't.
Mhm. Okay. Next agenda is agenda item number 7, Brookshire Police Department monthly report. Chief? You?
Y'all have my written report. Anybody have any questions on regarding that?
Can you explain the glitch that you were a little bit further? That's like the last question that you wanted, and I apologize.
Yes, so they're still working through that. That's
Okay.
our software, our badge Cardinal badge.
Mhm.
That's our RMS, and that's what we're gonna be replacing, which y'all approved
Okay.
last council meeting. Thank you very much. But no, when I'm running the statistics,
It was giving you weird times.
yes. So day before yesterday, we reached out to them. They tried to work out some of the bugs. We got the numbers, response time down to like 32 minutes, and then they worked on it some more. They got it down to 19 minutes. And so the last report that I got that was revised, and this does account for the entire month of December, 326 calls for service with the average response time of 9 minutes. So
Thank you.
that's probably where it's supposed to be. I still don't know how truthful that is because they are still working out some bugs, but they put this report together solely for me so I could have this to present to council and to give y'all an updated report.
Real information.
Thank you.
I hope it's real.
Thank you. Well, it's more.
It's more in line with what I brought last month. So, anyway, so you'll notice the RV down the street's gone. Yeah. We worked on that for a few days, finally made made contact with her a couple of times, didn't get any compliance. Once we put a sticker on it, I guess she decided she needed to move on, so.
Well, now there's two at the executive end. You can go
I spoke to executive end this afternoon regarding those. That's, if you want me to comment on that, I can tell you what I do know. It is a work crew from Idaho, and they do have a block of rooms that they're working out of. I spoke to the guy at the desk, and I told him that they can't give the appearance that they're camping in town, that's a violation of city ordinance. And he said, well, they just conduct their meetings there. I said, well, you need to have them move, because it's okay to travel with a travel trailer and park in a parking lot and then go stay in a motel. But we can't be camping and living out of them. He said that he thinks they're going to be either leaving sometime this week and or next week. But I told him in the meantime, if he could get those moved back into the parking lot and not giving the appearance that they're camping, get them out of sight, out of mind. So he said he would talk to them, and I told Erica today we'd keep an eye on it. So that's where we are with them. Other than that, I don't really, at the fireworks, we gave out one warning. We had 4 calls for service. Looks like the hot spot was on Depot Street. But, I mean, for the most part, and again, I don't have anything to gauge that to, being my first New Year's. But, and I'm hopeful that by this time next year, our staffing will be better and we'll be able to you know, take a little more initiative toward fireworks in the city. So that's pretty much all I have for you. I have one other thing. Whenever I first came to work here, and while cleaning out the police department, I came across this little gem, and somebody here on council, i.e. the mayor, earned this, and I wanted to present this to him because in 7-8 years, this was not given to him. So this is honoring 17 years. This is dated 2015, and it's honoring 17 years of police service. Let me just shake your hand before I read this. Lieutenant Darrell Branch, Brookshire Police Department, in recognition and sincere appreciation of your distinguished service, devotion, and friendship for the past 17 years, for handling each emergency with uncompromised competence and integrity, for being the steady voice in a storm, for using courage and compassion, and for providing such a meaningful service to the citizens of Brookshire. Your hard work and commitment have been a huge contribution to our success. Always remember that you made a difference. Brookshire Police Department 2015. Congratulations. Congratulations, sir.
Y'all come over here in front of the podium so we can get up.
Like an old man.
You want to take your glasses off too, Mayor?
No offense to any old man in here.
Thank you, Chief.
It's been a long time overdue. And one last thing in closing that I just want to address everybody here, that you got, as citizens, you got to take advantage of the opportunity to come here and sign up before the meeting. That's your time to speak. That's why they call it public comment. It's comment, and so council doesn't necessarily have to address and/or answer any questions that you have. Sit and listen. They take that into consideration. They may talk about it in executive session, but they don't have to address you, and it doesn't go as a bantering back and forth. And just like the mayor read out, and I would encourage you that if anybody doesn't have a copy of this, but just take this home and study it and read it. When it talks about public comments and what you can say, what you can do. And then coming up here, whenever they're taking things into consideration for discussion, that they're just supposed to discuss that among each other and making their decision. Now, when the mayor is gracious enough to grant you the opportunity to come up here, that's whenever you get to speak. Otherwise, you don't really get to speak. Because you can be called out of order, and the fact of the matter is that if you interfere with a public meeting, that's a Class B misdemeanor. That's why you don't want to go there. And nobody wants that embarrassment. Nobody wants to put the police in a situation where somebody's got to go kicking and screaming and dragged out of the building. We don't want to do that. So please, keep that in mind. Okay? No, you're good. What did I just say?
Let us know what door is open.
Hopefully,
So
hopefully the front door will be open
Next
the
meeting,
next
hopefully.
council meeting.
around 7 o'clock, we didn't like, coming in here. If I didn't see you, I brought y'all around. So please keep that in mind. We don't need to get all nasty
Next
with one
meeting,
another.
the front door should be
Yeah,
open.
they should be done.
Okay.
6
Any
months
questions?
later.
No, thank you, Chief.
Sir.
The sidewalk.
Pass inspection.
So now we're going in executive session.
Well, number 8 in an executive session.
See if you could get the other two.
Oh.
to say. Maybe.
Agenda item number 8, council and staff reports. Any?
I have a report. I just wanted to update council on the trash service. So far, Texas Pride has been trying to be as helpful as they can, working over some of the missed cans and things that Republic missed. And I will say Republic has been great working in the offloading, and Republic and Texas Pride have been working great together. So again, I just ask the public, stick with us. It's just going to take a little bit of time. I want to remind everybody, we are starting this with not knowing who any customers are. None. The water district refused to give us the customer list, so we're having to rebuild the customer list from square one and build it up. So we have staff members who are collecting those addresses, and then we are having to rebuild that database and then send it to an independent company who will then mail out bills to everybody. So I just want to give council an update financially where we are on the trash situation. So currently, the water district is charging residents $10.61 a month for their trash. The contracted rate for that trash for residential is $21 a month per resident. According to Republic, they have notified the water district for the last 11 years that the rate in which they were charging the public was inaccurate based on the contracted rate. The contracted rate for residential service with a commercial cart is $25. The contracted rate for an additional cart at your home is $9. The water district has been charging $7. That's a $2 deficit. They've been charging $10.61 when the contracted rate is 21 cents. The water district, we were going out to bid for trash service because basically Republic refused to rebid on the contract again for several reasons. Yep. And we received a bill today for $33,826. In the month, that is for the month of December. In the month of December, we collected $760. So just to be clear to the public, the city has been subsidizing the city of Brookshire's trash service for the past 11 years.
Yep.
So when people say that the city of Brookshire is not fulfilling their civic duty of services to the public, I just want to reiterate that this is one of many issues that we have uncovered in the past 4 to 5 months of deficiencies in city operations here at the city of Brookshire. It is my utmost responsibility and due diligence to the city to find out what it is that the city needs to do to run properly, efficiently, and most importantly, effectively and healthy. Because in the past we haven't been. We've been very irresponsible with our processes, but I just want to reiterate to council, we will be paying Republic Waste a monthly bill for the month of December trash service in the amount of $33,826, and we collected $760.
Well, the water district collected.
No, the water district did not
That's what we actually collected?
They said they did not collect money. We
Yeah.
have people that have
Of course they
said
did.
that they did pay the water district last
Yeah,
month.
of course they did.
They have not paid us. They are 2 months behind in their payments to the city for that reimbursement. So when people went over there and they refused to take their payments, those people came to the city. We have only collected $760. So again, I want to commend our staff for really stepping up and working, I mean, like ninjas to try and get this done. It's a very difficult task to have to build an entire city database of, who our customers are. And, we've had to purchase a new software system, which we're glad because now we can control. But I really want to commend our staff for the help that they have really stepped in to help us get this straightened out. I know Ms. Richard and Ms. McFarland and Ms. Molina have all been on board helping us from different angles, from accounts payable to accounts receivable to just account maintenance. So we will get there. It is going to be a slow process, but I can assure you that in 6 months, this will look completely different.
Did we ever get clarity on that $1.50 charge on the water bills for garbage, what that was for?
I have no idea.
I called the water district several times because if you look at it, you have 3 line items for trash. One was like $10.75, one was $1.50, and one was $1, and all it just said was garbage. And so I called and clarified because I said, it looks like I have 3 line items when I only have 2 cans. And
just to
the
clarify,
one person who actually answered, I think her name was Samantha, she's very kind and very helpful.
well,
Can't say the same about the other people I've dealt with at the water district.
and just to clarify, just so that if somebody were to say, well, maybe that was just 1 month because, the water district,
That was gonna be my
our
next
previous month's bill, November, was $57,933.16. The water district reimbursed us $15,980.10. So the city subsidized everything outside of that.
$40,000.
And they refused to give us the billing to know that what they actually collected, we received.
Correct. In fact, Republic Waste has asked them directly, and they specifically said, no, we will not be providing that to the city.
And just to make it clear for public record as well, that the water district is the one who voted to cease the billing for trash services first, and then in turn refused to also give us all of the billing addresses.
Correct.
Perfect.
We should, I can tell you the old council was asked several times to bring in our bill for ourselves, and we wouldn't be in this predicament. But we can go back and point fingers at what is going on, and it's not going to change anything. But while we're all up here arguing over who's doing what and what day, and we're really trying hard to get stuff like this
Straightened.
cleared up. I mean, everybody complained about how bad Republic was. They didn't pick up my trash. They left oil down my street and this, that, and the other. And then the next thing I know, everybody's like, well, why did the city do this to us? Now, we could point fingers at the water district all day long. It is no secret for the last 5 years, the water district has refused to work with the city, even have a simple meeting with the city. Councilman Jones and Councilman Stamps put it on the agenda several times, but we just need to move forward, people, and like Ms. Ward said, please be patient with us because this is just a learning curve.
It's a learning curve, correct.
historically, as a longtime resident, we used to be told that that $1.50 was for the fire department. That's all I know. I don't, I'm not claiming that I know exactly.
It used to be.
Used to be labeled though.
Okay. Okay.
It was like $5, I think, 5 or 7.
Yeah,
the
that was
last time.
like.
And we haven't had a fire department, a volunteer fire department in, but let me clear that up. We have not had a volunteer fire department in quite some time where that money was allotted to go to. We do have a fire department that is located on 359, Waller County ESD 200.
And as of 2 weeks ago, they're now 24/7 full paid duty crew at that location.
No volunteers. They're people that's going,
People
if
can
something
volunteer.
Don't worry
happens,
about
they're
dragging
coming.
your water hose out like they said.
Yeah.
That was my fault. Anyway. Okay,
So we're fixing to go into executive session. I'm going.
We're going into executive.
Language is there that allows us to.
Huh?
Language is there that allows us to.
okay. It's 8:15, we'll now go to executive session. I would ask that everyone clear the room, please.
Chief, you can stay. Oh.
I haven't seen you in a while, Tom. Where you been? No, I just said how you been. Huh? 8:56 by the clock on the wall. We're finished with executive session, and there's no action to be taken. So, if I remember correctly, the last item is adjournment.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Adjourn.